We'd like to bring to order the USD 345 May School Board meeting to order. And we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. And Diana, can you start us? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Moving through, I need an adoption of the agenda, please.
I move to adopt the agenda as presented.
I second.
Moved by Donna, seconded by Michelle. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, raise a hand and say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. So, Learning Without Limits, we have some retirees in our audience tonight that we would like to recognize. So, Mr. Jones, would you like to come up?
Do you want
Board members, if you could, yes, hang out by the directors, that would be great.
You can hang out. Eventually, when I'm done, then I think he'll line up here and everybody's there.
Okay.
So you get to start.
Okay, let me going.
Just follow the crowd.
There you go. Hi. Well, it says I'm just here. I was like here, but then I came back, so.
Okay.
That's my, let's, I'll go back to that.
Okay, first up, I have Linda Schaefer. Linda's been here at Seaman High School since 2017. Throughout her time here, she's served primarily as a paraprofessional in our multi-level program, building strong relationships with students, supporting them each and every day with patience, care, and consistency. During one of the most challenging times in education, she stepped up and served as an emergency sub in the multi-level classroom from November 22 through May. Her willingness to step into that role demonstrated her flexibility, commitment, and deep care for our students and staff. She has also brought life, joy, and skills to the classroom through weekly cookie sales she organized. They are more than just fun. They create opportunities for students to learn, connect, and take pride in the work. Her quiet dedication, servant heart approach has made a meaningful difference in the lives of many students at Seaman High School. And we thank you for your compassion, support, and positivity that you bring to the Viking family. And throughout all the changes, you have been the anchor in that room. So I want to thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
You're okay.
You know which way I'd be facing, so everybody's got something.
Yeah. All right, Kate. Kate's been in education for 33 years. She started when she was 6. 6? Okay, I'm 7.
Okay.
All right. All right. In education for leadership, she's been known for positivity, which she has brought to Seaman High School. I can honestly say I've rarely been around someone who is as positive and happy. Thank you. She told me she would hit me if I didn't say that. Her energy, encouragement, and ability to connect with people has had an impact on everybody that you've come in contact with. You came to Seaman as an assistant principal in 2018. Her claim to fame is that she interviewed twice, and after the second time, she told them, if you don't hire me, I'm going to keep on applying. So, bada boom, bada bing, they hired her.
Assistance.
So she's loved every aspect of her life at Seaman, which we have thoroughly enjoyed her. Loves homecoming parades, fine arts performances, all the extracurricular activities, anything to build relationships around students. You brought enthusiasm and joy to the building every single day, and Seaman High School was better because of you. Thank you.
And I couldn't have done it without.
All right. And Craig. All right. We get to recognize Craig Cox for the positive impact he's made on Seaman High School and for his 15 years in education here. Since joining the district, he's built many positive relationships with students and staff through a steady presence, positive attitude, genuine care for others, and sarcastic jokes in PE. All right. You also share that the best part of today was always being with the students. He was the reason that a lot of students had a smile on their face every day. He got to experience time as an emergency sub and to continue to support students and staff wherever he is. The impact you've had on our students and faculty remain part of your outstanding legacy. We're grateful for your dedication to the school and the countless lives that you have impacted. I shake you.
Okay, I have Beth Smith. Oh, Beth. Beth is an incredible educator, advocate, and human being. Beth is the kind of special education teacher who changes lives far beyond academics. Her grit, dedication, and knowledge have impacted students, families, and staff in ways that cannot be fully measured. She has spent her career fighting for kids, believing in kids, and refusing to give up on kids, especially the ones who needed someone to believe in them the most. Don't cry. Special education work is not easy work. It requires patience, creativity, advocacy, and an enormous heart. Beth, you have all of those things. You've brought all of those things every single day. She met students where they were, loved them fiercely, and reminded us all what truly dedication looks like. Beth has also been a safe place within our building. Students knew they could trust her. Staff knew they could go with her for support, guidance, honesty, and encouragement. She has a way of making people feel seen, heard, and valued. And that is a gift not everyone possesses. One of the things I admire most about Beth is her faith. In difficult moments, stressful days, and challenging seasons, her faith has been something steady and grounding. She carries herself with compassion, grace, and strength, and I know personally that she is someone I can lean on. The kind of person that leaves an impact far beyond her classroom. Beth, your knowledge and leadership helped make Logan stronger. Your advocacy made students safer and more successful. Your presence has made staff feel supported, and your heart helped shape the culture of this building, okay? Logan Elementary School is a better place because of you. As you step into retirement, I hope you know how deeply appreciated and respected you are. Your legacy lives in every student you helped, every staff member you encouraged, and every life that you have touched along the way. Thank you.
All right, I have the pleasure of saying a few words about Annette Myers, Elma librarian. So Annette's been in the Seaman District for 20 years, 10 of which were split between West Centennial and Elmont. The last 10, we got it all to ourselves, which we were really happy for. Annette's gone out of her way every year and fostering a love of reading for our Elmont students, organizing and running dozens and dozens of reading challenges, literacy events, book fairs, author visits. She's also worked hand in hand in supporting staff throughout the building with all the different resources she has at her disposal, has taken on a lead role in implementing regular digital citizenship lessons at Elmont. In addition to the many ways that she's been a leader at Elmont, Annette has served on a number of district committees, most notably multiple years, the chairperson for our district professional development committee, which is one of the more demanding roles from a time commitment standpoint. Annette truly is an educator that will step up to do pretty much anything to support her building and district, as well as extending a great deal of patience and grace to a very new and inexperienced school principal 12 years ago. Her impact on Elmont Elementary and the Seaman School District, it'll be a lasting one, and her presence will be dearly missed. And I wish her nothing but the best in her retirement years ahead.
It's my pleasure tonight to get to recognize Lance Dugan for his 23 years of service to the Seaman School District. I have the unique pleasure tonight of recognizing two retirees who both played a role in my high school education. I got to know Coach Dugan as a football coach first during my time in high school and knew him immediately as someone who made anything he did, whether it was coaching or teaching, just a joy. Completely fun to be around. He greeted our students at Seaman Middle School every day with a smile, loved getting to joke with his students every day, but more than anything, loved getting to make PE fun and teach physical education to our middle school students, as well as the numerous students that he coached as well. His fellow teacher and coach, Trent Oliva, wrote this about you. I first met Lance back in 2005 when I student taught in the district at Northern Hills Junior High. Whether it was baseball or when I was teaching or coaching in another district, or up to his last day back in December at SMS, I could always count on Lance to be there for me for over those 21 years. There are many students that have shared the same feelings this past second semester. To this day, when I see the former students out in the public, they mention how he made the days at Seaman Middle School so much fun. You were missed at SMS. The kids are miss you and wish you just the best in your retirement. Congratulations on your retirement. Yeah.
Even if they're not yet, sorry. Just want to make sure that. All right. I have the honor to recognize several staff members tonight, but our first one is Julie Lambrick, who has been in the district for 23 years. Julie leaves behind a legacy of compassion, patience, and heartfelt care for students and staff alike. Known for her calm presence, kind heart, and encouraging spirit, she has been a reliable advocate and positive role model in every classroom she supported. Her flexibility and teamwork and thoughtful nature helped create a welcoming environment where students felt safe, supported, and valued. Whether offering a gentle word or of encouragement, lending a helping hand, or simply sharing her joyful spirit, she made a lasting impact on our Cardinal family. Her amazing dedication, sincerity, and love for others will be deeply missed but never forgotten. We wish Julie the best in her retirement.
Okay. Yes. This is Cindy Harrelson, and Cindy is what we would call a Logan ride or die. Through years of change, challenges, and celebrations, and generations of students, she has remained steady, loyal, and deeply committed to kids. There are educators who work in a building, and there are educators who are part of the building's identity, and Cindy, you are absolutely the second. As a first grade teacher, she has helped shape the foundation for countless students. Many of us know that first grade is where confidence is built, independence begins, and students start believing in themselves as learners. Cindy gave the gift to children year after year with patience, warmth, high expectations, and love. On a personal note, Cindy, you have been someone I have looked up to immensely in education. Your professionalism, your wisdom, your calm presence, and your ability to work hard look effortless and have inspired me more than you would probably realize. You have the kind of presence that makes people feel supported simply by being around you. And honestly, we cannot talk about Cindy without mentioning her wardrobe. Your style has always been iconic to me. Every outfit looked intentional, polished, and somehow effortless at the same time. However, there are educators who teach lessons, and then there are educators who walk into a hallway and make everyone rethink their outfit choices for the day. Cindy does both. But beyond the style, what stands out most is your heart. You've cared deeply for students. I have watched you care deeply for students. I have watched you care deeply for coworkers and for the community. You show up consistently, faithfully, and with pride for Logan Elementary, the kind of dedication that leaves a legacy that lasts much longer than your retirement, I promise. Cindy, thank you for the years you have poured into children, the example you have set for educators like me, and the love you give this school. Logan is a much better place because you are there. Cindy, congratulations on your retirement. It will be well-deserved, and you will always be a part of the Logan family, and I'm desperately going to miss you.
I have the honor to recognize Jolene Yap up here for her 26 years in education. She has taught second, fourth, fifth, and sixth grades. I personally had the opportunity to know her during fourth and fifth. So Jolene leaves behind a lasting legacy of care, compassion, and commitment to students and staff. She has been steady and has been a steady and thoughtful presence, always leading with kindness, patience, and willingness to give others. Jolene is known as a collaborative team player and a knowledgeable mentor who shares her creativity and warmth through quilting, crafting, and baking. Just ask her about her cinnamon rolls. We're going to miss Jolene for many things. She's served on many committees over the years as well, too, being that mentor, that leader, and that voice at West. Her gentle encouragement, common sense, and unwavering commitment to students have made a tremendous impact on our Cardinal family. Though she will be greatly missed, the positive influence she has had on students and staff will continue for years to come. We're going to miss Jolene. Congratulations on your retirement. All right. Next one, we have Grace Davy, who has served 27 years in education, not only as a para-educator, but also a bus driver and a para-bus driver. That one I just learned this year about the bus driver. So that was a new one for me. So Grace leaves behind a legacy of love, faith, and unwavering support for students, staff, and families. Known for being patient, caring, kind, calm, and trustworthy, she brings a welcoming and encouraging presence to every child she works with each day. Often walking hand in hand down the hallways, Grace's hands-on approach, helpful spirit, and deep commitment to others make her an invaluable part of our Cardinal family. Through her loving heart, compassionate care, and her faithful commitment, she has touched countless lives, both at school and on the bus, and has created memories and relationships that will continue long after her retirement. We will miss Grace, but we wish her the best in her retirement.
It's really hard to put into words the impact and the legacy that Carrie Staley leaves on the instrumental music program, both at Seaman High School and Seaman Middle School, and the impact he had over his distinguished 33-year career in education, 24 of which were in the Seaman School District, primarily at Seaman High School, and we were lucky enough to get to bring him to Seaman Middle School here for the last 4 years? 4 years, yeah. Mr. Staley, of course, has received numerous accolades for his work in music education, being named as the outstanding high school band teacher in both 2009 and 2020. Mr. Staley took multiple ensembles and had them compete at the highest level. His marching bands were consistently top in the state of Kansas, and really did wonders for the pride of North Topeka, the Seaman High School marching band. He also did amazing work with his jazz ensembles as well. Under his direction, our ensembles performed for the Kansas Music Educators Association convention 4 times. That's one of the highest honors that jazz ensembles can receive in the state. On top of that, Mr. Staley took students to experience different parts of the United States through music, gave them the opportunity to march in bowl games in San Antonio, Orlando, New York City, just to name a few. More than anything, Mr. Staley inspired a love of music in his students, and created, I think any band member would tell you, just created a true family in our Viking marching band. One of his co-directors, Anna Kennedy, wrote this about him. Carrie Staley made an incredible impact on the Seaman School District, and it's hard to imagine the program without him. He truly built this program from the ground up, and because of his leadership, it hasn't just lasted. It's remained strong and continued to grow. He set the tone for what this program represents, and the influence will carry on for years to come. More than anything, Carrie has impacted the lives of so many students along the way through his deep knowledge, his signature dry humor, and the way he encouraged students to be their best. He made a lasting difference. He had a way of challenging students while also making them feel supported and capable, something they will carry with them long after they leave school. At this point, we're sure he is thinking, please let this be over soon, as recognition isn't necessarily his favorite thing. He begged me multiple times not to have lots of recognition, but he absolutely deserves it. So Anna says, deal with it. We will certainly miss having him as part of our team, but we know this isn't an ending, just a transition. We're grateful for everything he has given and look forward to seeing what the future holds for him. Congratulations, Mr. Thaler.
All right, Cassie, ready for this? All right, tonight I have the privilege of recognizing Cassie Cowan. She's been here 30 and a half years. So like Kate, she started when she was 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's, hey, my wife has taught me well. All right. She started her career early. She drove from Emporia every day to just coach basketball because she wanted to be here and be a part of the district. And they were smart enough to offer her a job right after that. Did her student teaching here, and then became a special education teacher. She has been the Swiss Army knife of our special education department. Someone who could always be counted on, step in, problem solve, support students, and help wherever needed. Sarita Miller says that she takes on everything that is thrown at her and works to solve problems and get answers. Words to describe her: empathetic, determined, fierce, kind, and caring. SHS is losing a valuable asset with her retiring. And Shelley said something about you, something like that, but she said your smile, your sense of humor, just your positive approach to everything that you do. So your compassion, dedication, heart that you poured into generations of Vikings will be felt for years. Thank you for everything. All right. Next up is Julie Kazar. Tonight, we recognize Julie for her remarkable career in education for nearly 3 decades of dedicated service to Seaman High School. The more I got to know Julie, the more I realized how lucky I am to know her. She's the kind of person who quietly makes tremendous difference in the lives of students and colleagues alike. She joined Seaman in 1997 after graduate school at Kansas and spent 29 of her 31 years in education serving our students. She often says that graduation ceremonies were her favorite moments, watching students walk across the stage, especially those who overcame challenges and adversity to get there. She appreciated the growth students made during her years at SHS and genuinely cared about helping them succeed. Her career has been filled with meaningful relationships, lasting friendships, and an unwavering dedication to students. She will be missed as well. Ellie Pringle. All right. All right. So as we celebrate Shelley for her 30 years in education, another one who started at 6, Shelley is for me is personally a tough loss, and for our entire administrative team because of the leadership, wisdom, and heart she has brought to the building every day and even back in the day. All right, she began at Seaman as a student teacher, and before officially joining the staff, throughout her career, she's served in multiple roles as a teacher, administrator, but at her core, it's always been her role as in relationships. She loved teaching, coaching, and creating connections with students and staff. She also helped define the spirit of Seaman High School, whether it was dressing up alongside students during Spirit Weeks or helping coach the 2006 boys track and field state title. She's fully invested herself in making Seaman High School a special place for kids. She also referred to Seaman as her home away from home, knowing that many of us feel the same way about her presence in the building. So thank you for your leadership, loyalty, unwavering commitment to our student and staff. You will be definitely missed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. Thank you. Keep being honest.
Right.
Thank you.
I think it's yes. Kids are killing. First line is Saturday, that's it. Your house is on it. I knew that. That's no good.
We do this?
Who's in, April
Spacing, work on photo spacing, people, come on. Christine might need to stand on a chair. She's coming, she's coming.
Right here.
Yeah.
I'll just.
Right here in between.
Sneak in right here. That good? Okay. Thank you. All right, we're gonna move ahead in our agenda to public communications. At this time, the public comment portion of the board meeting will allow 3 minutes per speaker. Persons wishing to speak to the board must pre-register at the meeting with the board clerk. Per board policy, speakers must meet one of the following criteria to address the board at a board meeting: district residents, district business owners, district employees, or parent/guardians of a student in the district. Persons not meeting the public comment criteria may submit comments via online form. Public comment is the time for district patrons to address the board. Please do not intercede during board discussion of agenda items unless specifically asked by the board or administration. Communications must not address students or personnel. If speakers have concerns in this area, please make an appointment with the superintendent. Per board policy, the board asked groups with the same interest to appoint a spokesperson to deliver the group's message. Except to ask clarifying questions, board members shall not interact with speakers at the open forum. Speakers will be asked to limit their time to 3 minutes to allow for all participants time to address the board. Candace.
Michelle Potter.
Michelle here. Okay.
Corbin Stan.
Hello, Mr. Corbin. Hello. You can start whenever you're ready.
Hi, my name is Corbin and I am here to talk about bullying. I moved here to Seaman 4 years ago and ever since I have been bullied. This district handbook, and administration have made this an unsafe learning environment. I can't even use the normal passing periods after being shoved into the bathroom and attacked by a kid while two others stood at his side as bodyguards. And they watched him hold me against the wall by my throat so I could not breathe and hit me over and over. Do you know what his punishment was? 1.5 days of suspension. When he came back to school after his suspension, he was placed in my gym class in an unattended locker room with me. This is just one story of how I have been hit, bullied, and threatened to be killed while at Seaman Middle School this year. Relying on kids to tell the truth and be witnesses for these situations has been a big problem because when they lie, nobody gets punished and the behavior just continues. Since there were no consequences, unfortunately, the horrible treatment did not start at the middle school. It went unhandled for 3 years at Northern Hills First. The same things were happening at the elementary school. Last month, I finally made a choice to stand up for myself and hit someone back after they hit me in the throat with their binder. And do you know what punishment I got? I got suspended for 2 days. Witnesses also lied about this situation. Does nobody see a problem with that? The fact that the kid or that you can look a kid in the eyes and punish him for protecting himself and handling something that no one else can seem to prevent from happening says a lot about the character, handbook, and the district as a whole. I have a question for all of you. I bet you are parents. Do you raise your kids to lay there and take punches over and over and do nothing about it? I really doubt it. And if so, you're part of the problem. I have been told by the schools for years, tell an adult, tell an adult, tell an adult. And do you know where that has gotten me? I am now labeled a snitch and it has put an even bigger target on my back. This is because of your handbook. Feeling like I have to choose between being a victim or being punished for defending myself is an impossible position for any student to be in. This district and its handbook are what is supposed to be keeping me safe, and both have really failed me in a big way. Now I am labeled a bad kid for standing up for myself. The way this handbook is written has taught us that we have to accept being bullied, hit, and that we have to allow hurtful things to be said to us. That is why that is because self-defense is not allowed in your handbook. And because when the only option is to defend yourself, you get punished. There are fights in the boys' bathroom almost every single day, and they are not reported because they get threatened to be hit again. You put us in a vicious cycle. We need change. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to superintendent remarks.
Thank you. So last week was Teacher Appreciation Week. I want to take a moment to recognize the teaching profession and especially the teachers in our district who educate and care for our students in so many ways. Free public education started in Massachusetts in 1827. Most of us think about Kansas in the late 19th century and think about those one-room schoolhouses in which a community built and maintained a school and housed and paid for a teacher to educate their kids. The responsibilities and expectations since then of public schools has increased exponentially, from adding vocational education in the early 20th century, kindergartens in the 40s, school lunch, early childhood education, driver's education, sex education. If you remember Sputnik and increasing math and science education of American children to being on the front lines of civil rights, and right in this town, Brown versus Board of Education. From special education in 1975 to breakfast to AP classes, Title IX in the 70s. More recently, 80s and 90s, we saw Federal Department of Education reinstated, standards, accountability measures, and charter schools. Then came No Child Left Behind, federal accountability, Race to the Top, Common Core Standards, and Every Student Succeeds Act. You can imagine how much is on our teachers. All of this was done to teachers with very little input from the professionals. Seems crazy to think of similar changes to a profession like attorney, physician, engineer, or construction without significant input from the field. Meanwhile, teacher salaries have decreased from 2010 to 2019 relative to inflation, 8.4% for elementary and middle school teachers. Yet, in Seaman, we still have 300 teachers in our district, educating our students, caring for their physical and mental well-being. As our world seems more fragmented, their work seems more difficult with greater issues to deal with. But you would never know it talking to them. They keep caring for their kids and keep taking care of them. Following Teacher Appreciation Week, I want to thank our teachers for all they do. I painted challenging pictures, but you would never know it by talking to them about our students. They love these kids and they will do what it takes to prepare them for lifelong success. Thank you to all of our educators who pour into the life of our students. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. President remarks or board remarks. Does anybody from the board have anything that they would like to share?
Christy, can I talk about KASB
Yes.
and our trip to DC?
Yes, you can.
At the end of April, I was invited to go to Washington DC with the Kansas Association of School Boards. And it was an advocacy trip to meet with our congressional representatives. We spent 2.5 days hearing from representatives from different DC firms, lobbying firms, also different offices of congressional members. We were there with 60 folks from Nebraska, 15 from Kansas, and a small contingent from Oklahoma. I didn't actually count the Oklahomans. But it was a really great opportunity for me to personally, this is my first trip, to kind of dive into the advocacy space, which is not easy to do. Our group met with Derek Schmidt. We were able to spend quite a bit of time with him in his offices. We met with Roger Marshall's staff. Mr. Marshall was not able to meet with us. And another contingent, another part of the group met with Jerry Moran. I just want to personally say it is a privilege to be able to advocate for our public schools. We often think the people in DC don't listen to us, maybe when we share our opinions, but I think there's a lot of power in having a group of volunteers who care enough to take time out of their schedules and show up in your office. I think Derek Schmidt made that clear as well. It was just it was neat to walk those halls. It was neat to share our message about our students, our teachers, our school district, and what we need in order to be successful. And it was great to feel like I was heard. So it was a fabulous trip. Thank you to the school district and our patrons for allowing me to go. I appreciate every bit of it.
I don't really have much to add on top of what Diana said. It was a really hectic day that we were on the Hill because the king from England was coming to the Capitol that afternoon, and we saw his motorcade twice.
2 times.
And yes, and then we had to walk well away and around the construction and the White House because everything was tied down. And I don't think I've ever seen our national Capitol empty. There was not a soul in the visitor center because they shut down the Capitol the day that the king was coming. So it was kind of weird feeling to be in the Capitol with no hubbub. And if you've been there, you know how crazy busy it can be. But Diana summed up our visits very well. Derek Schmidt probably spent 30 minutes with us.
Yeah.
Which we would not normally get. We did run into Dr. Marshall as he was coming onto the elevator. We were getting off. And so we got to, at least just say hello and tell him where we were from. But it was a good couple days with the other states, Nebraska, Oklahoma. Even Nebraska had some senators that came along with the group. So maybe Kyle, maybe next time you'll want to come and be able to, have some conversations with their legislative people. So it was just a really good 2.5 days of learning. And it was really focused on what our states needed and nothing nationally. So it was fantastic. So thank you, Diana, for being a great travel partner. And yeah, it was a good time. And so thank you to the district for allowing us to go. Anything else from the board? No? I'm super excited. What do we have? Only a week and a half left of school, something like that. So we have a ton of graduation, not a ton of graduations, but we have a lot of activities happening. So we have graduation on Sunday. We have our little reception at Pleasant Hill on Sunday. And then we have 6th grade and 8th grade promotions next week. So really busy time. And I'm sure the kids are super excited that summer is right around the corner. So okay, let's move on to business by consent. I need a motion, please.
I move that we accept the disposition of business by consent.
Second.
It's been moved by Michelle, seconded by Diana. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, raise your hand and say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Megan, curriculum and instruction.
Yes, good evening. I'm just going to highlight one item, which is on the second page of the curriculum and instruction report, and that is the proposed transition to using FastBridge Sabers as our social emotional screener compared to the SRSSIE tool that we have been using for almost a decade. And yes, those are two big acronyms I identified in my report what those acronyms actually stand for. But to sum it up, they are both social emotional screeners, which is a part of our multi-tiered systems of support. And it's having a tool in place that kind of provides that whole picture screening and analysis of a student. So combining academics with behavior to get that data for our teams to look at. So the original screener, the SRSSIE screener that we first adopted about 10 years ago was when we first went through the MTSS process with TASN, and we needed a screener at that time. And at the time, that was the main one that was being recommended to districts. So since then, there are more options for social emotional screeners. And the reason that we are suggesting this transition is because Sabers is a part of FastBridge and is included in our FastBridge adoption. As you can recall that this year we went pre-K-12. So it's already a tool that all of our teachers are using. And a couple differences between the two is that Sabers can be taken by teachers digitally. And both of these are just teacher screeners and surveys. It is not a survey that goes out to students. So it's just teachers that complete it. And so teachers will be able to complete this screener directly within their FastBridge portal that they're already used to using. And it's going to then create and be part of the FastBridge reports that we're already getting for reading and math. So it's kind of condensing everything into one location. Whereas a little history on the SRSSIE, that tool is not a digital system. It's really just Google Sheets spreadsheets that we have created ourselves. Currently, we have staff members at every building who are manually gathering every teacher's data to then put it into a building comprehensive spreadsheet. So the switch to Sabers would definitely be both time saving for those staff who are currently hand compiling numbers in our screener data and give us those comprehensive reports all together. We started looking at this back in March to make the transition. And I brought it up at the time to principal teams and instructional coaching teams. And over the course of the spring, I encouraged them to take this back to their building leadership teams and collaborative teams for feedback, show them some of the little quick tip videos on how Sabers looks. And all the feedback that came back from principals and instructional coaching groups is that teachers are in favor of this change because they see the time-saving component and the reports that are a part of it. So that is going to make our recommendation to officially switch from our manual spreadsheets to a nice, clean, crisp digital version. So any questions for me?
Thank you, Megan. Okay. Oh, you're up still.
I will stay up here. Okay. I am here to share with you our draft goals for next year's KISA cycle. So what you're seeing up here on the first slide is what I call the KISA rainbow chart, which essentially shows from the state the 4 fundamentals that every district needs to select for their goals, and then the structure that you're going to use in order to meet your selected goals. And then showing at the end that whatever structure and fundamental you select, you need to identify a 6-month targeted goal and a 1-year targeted goal. So on the following slides, I'm going to share with you the fundamental structures and measure of progress for our 2 KISA goals. And we continue to excel as a district in that we have selected 2 goals. And I'll explain why we still have our 2 goals as we get to that. Goal 1. So all of this was developed with feedback from our KISA team members, building leadership team members, and those that attended the school improvement day. So we are keeping standards alignment as one of our fundamentals, but we are actually shifting to the structure of professional collaboration along with our implementation of instructional collaboration mornings next year. So you can see that within the context that we're referencing the implementation of the common collaboration time, and this being an opportunity for our staff members to collaborate and have those standards alignment conversations. How we are going to measure the implementation of our professional collaborations focused on standards alignment is by continuing to administer a perception survey that we started this year on standards alignment and how it's been going, and add a couple of questions to that perception survey specifically targeted to the development of common assessment, which is the work that our team members will be doing in collaboration time, both on instructional collaboration mornings and during their pull-out professional development with me once a quarter. So what we look at being as our 6-month target for that particular goal is to see at least a baseline of 50% of our staff responding positively to the implementation of the common assessments that we are doing across all core areas. And of course, we'll want to look for the maintaining of the high levels of positivity and agreement on the standards alignment that we have had so far this school year. And then the 1-year target, which we'll be looking at next April, because our KISA cycle runs from April to April, is that on that same perception survey, we are seeing growth and that we have an 80% positive response rate regarding standards alignment and the implementation of common assessments, because by that point, we'll have been doing it over the course of the full year. So that's our standard alignments goal. If you go to the next slide, this is just a timeline slide to put a visual to where we're headed with that goal. This is a slide that I use and remind staff every time they come and work with me on standards alignment. That really over the past year, our 25-26 school year, we have really focused on identifying our outcomes for student learning aligned to the standards at all content levels across pre-K through 12. And since we have done that work, we are ready to now align common formative assessments, little assessment checkpoints throughout the year, tied directly to the standards that we have identified to be the most important. Now, this work is not work that can be done quickly. It takes time to do it and to do it right. And so you'll see my proposal that I'm sharing with staff, this goal of focusing on common assessments will likely take us at least 2 years to implement. So to go slow and make sure that everybody is understanding, getting things in place and moving forward with the work. So that's our standards alignment. Okay, the second goal that the team has drafted for our KISA is still the goal of structured literacy and keeping the same structure of professional learning. The reason that we still have these 2 goals is because we are still working in order to ensure 100% completion of staff in achieving the seal of literacy, meaning that they have completed either letters training or a college course associated with the science of reading or taken a test, a praxis test in order to prove their knowledge of the science of reading. So we're looking for 100% completion on this one. We've made great strides in this goal this year, but not settling for less than that 100%. So that's basically what's outlined here on this particular goal, is that now that we have our in-district letters facilitators, we had 1 cohort group that started this year. We already have staff lined up to be in a cohort group for next year. We're going to keep providing all of the in-district opportunities and making sure every staff member, if they're not doing in-district, are doing a college class or taking a praxis. So by our 6-month target of in October, we'll have 90% of our early childhood and elementary staff on track. And by next April, 100%. And we're really close. We have about 14% of staff. If we go to the next slide, I think that has some of my numbers, or 17% that as of last week were still undeclared. So that's really our target group. So getting 7% of those staff members into something by next October and then all 17% of those staff in something either on track to complete or completed by next April. The left side just shows how this past year we met our goals already in this area by ensuring that we had our staff members trained and had training dates and everything set. So that was just a glimpse of the numbers of where we are at in that particular goal. So these draft goals, where I go from it next after presenting to you guys, is within the next few weeks, it officially gets submitted to KSDE as these being our goals. And we will jump in and get right on it when staff get back next August. Any questions for me about KISA goals? Yes.
The 17% of staff that are undeclared, when do they have, is there a deadline for them to let you know what their path looks like?
What I have been doing and principals have been doing, have been reaching out directly to those staff to have some conversations. A lot of times with those remaining 17%, they're waiting for maybe certain life situations to start a college course. They're not sure, because letters is a 2-year commitment. They're not sure if it's the right timeline to start letters. So it's some things like that. All of those 17% have been reached out to. They just haven't been ready yet to give us their commitment. So we continue to be in contact and have those coaching conversations with them, knowing that we're getting, every year a little bit closer to that seal of literacy deadline.
Thanks, Mike.
Remind me when that deadline is.
It is July 1st of 2028. So those who are wanting to do letters, we're really trying to get them into the next cohort. So yeah.
Thanks, Megan. Anything else from the board?
Okay,
Thank you. Mr. Marty.
Good evening.
Hello.
Building Site Council. You received in your packets all the information from all the different buildings. I would just remind you the purpose of the School Site Council is to support, advise, and advocate alongside school leadership in the continuous improvement of education. I don't want to reread what you already have. I'll ask if you have any questions I can try to answer.
Any questions?
Okay.
I think you're good.
You bet.
Ms. Deidre, Special Services Report. We'll get you a chair with some wheels on it.
Good evening. You have a couple reminders before you. I put an invitation for Pleasant Hill. Please note that it's a different time this year. It's in the morning and it's just for an hour. Karen's personal children are graduating in the afternoon in another city, so she'll be running on her way. Please don't forget to come to that if you can. It's a brunch for Pleasant Hill students. There's 23. We're getting a bigger class. It seems like it's a great class to graduate. There's a couple of 8th graders that they're promoting as well. We haven't had 8th graders promote before, so they're a part of that brunch as well. Also, just a note, a plug for Abilities Day at the Zoo. All of our specialty classes went, and I put some great pictures in your executive content of those students in our specialty classrooms. Had a great day. Nonviolence crisis intervention is what I want to talk about for just a minute. We have our data summed up on the back if you want to see each year what that looks like. We have 3 initial trainings every year. We have refreshers at every building, so 9 refreshers throughout the school years as well. We have 2 trainers. You can see we get more staff each year being trained, mostly focusing on de-escalation strategies, preventing, problem solving, understanding students and their social emotional needs. It's a great training. We need to work on more general education and admin getting trained. That's our weaker area, and we'll be working on that next year. But it's a great training and it's very useful within our schools. Have any questions over any of that? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Deidre. Mr. Bradley, Facility and Grounds Report. No.
Wanted to start off the first part of April. Steve Smith got a phone call from Bud Fair, and he said that we had a truck run through the building. And I was like, "Yeah, right." So went over there, and then that's what we found. A vehicle had gotten stolen. And they decided to do some donuts on the north side of the school. And he lost control of it and went through. That's how we found out it was a stolen vehicle. So I've had Sydney Company and Murray and Son come out, give us some quotes so far. Insurance we're still waiting on. So that was Indian Creek. And then Logan Elementary, trying to finish up on the canopy area. We got about a quarter of it left. We'll finish it hopefully this week, putting the rubber mulch in and having it all ready for the kids. Then Mr. Marty gave me another phone call about 2 weeks later, same day, Thursday, saying about a vehicle. Called in all the maintenance guys. We cleared it up, cleaned it up, and then had it all boarded up that night by 4 o'clock. So everything was good there. And then
Third time's the charm. I know, don't.
actually that is the third time. We had Pleasant Hill about a year ago,
Oh,
about the same
okay.
time. So that's third time's the charm.
Is the problem Marty? We're looking at our driver's ed implementation.
I was not writing video.
And then Sunrise Optimist, their wood fence around the dumpster was starting to fall apart. So we put a new fence around it. There's a couple other places that we're wanting to do the same thing, dress it up, make it look a little bit better. So that's the month of April. Anything else?
No, but thank you to you and your team for
Yes.
responding to both of those
Yes.
issues.
So we
Fairly
had it
quickly.
all worked up and ready to go. And
Yeah.
then they had school Monday morning in class, so we had it all ready for them.
Lance, I was at Logan on Friday afternoon and could not believe that it looked amazing. You had it painted and everything. It looked like nothing had happened. So great job.
Well, it was funny, it was one of the contractors called me and said, "Where's it at?" And I called up, I said, "There's parked right in front of it." He was like, "I would have never thought." So the guys did well, so.
Very much so.
Thank you so much.
Lance, I would be remiss if I didn't say, because I'm the only facility guy on this whole board. Thank you. Your resources, your reclamation, great work.
Yeah.
And I say thank you.
Thank
you.
So I do have. So the
No,
boys and girls.
no.
No, the Boys and Girls Club, are they still using Indian Creek then or what?
North Topeka Outreach.
Oh, there you go. I'm sorry.
And they are basically done for the year and they moved their stuff, his crew moved their
Right.
stuff to the other side.
So,
Yeah.
I met with both contractors again today. They're saying once the insurance and everything in 2 weeks, we have both of them done. So they'll be back in. By all.
Next, yeah.
So.
No matter what Kyle says, thank you, Lance.
Thank you, Lance. Miss Jenny, welcome.
Mr. Brad, been on before him. So I am here today to tell you guys about the health services program. We have 8 registered nurses. That includes me. We have 3 LPNs and we have a health para. And currently we have 2 registered nurse substitutes, which are working pretty much every day right now. We do a lot more than just take care of bumps and bruises. We manage chronic health conditions like asthma, diabetes. We provide first aid and emergency care and help prevent the spread of illness in schools. We also make sure that students are up to date on immunizations and we complete important health screenings like vision, hearing, dental, growth screenings. We work closely with teachers, staffs, and families to support student health needs, including helping with IEPs and 504 plans. We also provide care for students with more complex medical needs, and we even attend field trips with them when necessary. I got to go on one last Monday, which was really fun, to the Discovery Center. We are responsible for teaching CPR to all the 9th grade students in the district, as well as the activity sponsors and our coaches. And now we are also going to be training a group of staff in each building, and that is to for our cardiac emergency plans that we started earlier this year. And the other thing, we do play a large part in the workers' comp process. So we do a lot of paperwork and evaluate our staff members for injuries. And then we're also active members of our school community. We help with daily operations by assisting with arrival dismissal. We cover for the office staff while they take a break. We answer phone calls and we attend staff meetings. So when I was putting this together back early March, I ran some reports just so I could give you guys some data on what we've done so far this year. So as of March, we had almost 40,000 administrations. So that would be medications, blood glucose checks, tube feedings, catheterizations. So between all of us, we had done almost 40,000 of those. As far as screenings go, we did almost 2,000 dental screenings, 2,500 hearing screenings, 2,500 vision screenings, and a little over 2,000 height and weight screenings. And we have also accrued about 47,000 categorical aid minutes that helps the district with some special ed reimbursement. And we had also submitted 15,000 Medicaid reimbursement minutes. So while we are proud of what we do, we know there's always things that we can do better. Every registered nurse except for me has actually only been in our district 5 years or less. So while that's very exciting to have the young girls in here, it does take some training and professional development on my end to get them where they need to be. So the goals that we have coming up, of course, the first one is going to be our cardiac emergency plans. We are needing to increase our number of CPR instructors. Currently, there's 2, so we need more. And then we'll be providing the instruction to the team members in each building. And then each building will be doing a drill. And we also want to provide the education information to the whole staff, not just everybody on the team. Another goal that we have is to strengthen our chronic disease management through standardized care plans. So as nurses, we work off of individualized healthcare plans. So we have a new electronic health record system that can help us put together our care plans, but it's a learning curve. And so that is something that actually all of us, including myself, need to work on how we can make those better and more easy for us to use. And then we also need to improve our tracking and follow up for our health screenings and referrals. When we screen a kid, if they don't pass, then we usually wait a little bit and then we re-screen them. If they still don't pass, that's when we contact the parent and refer them to either go to the eye doctor or their primary care physician. And we just need to work on making sure we're following up on those referrals and making sure those kiddos get checked out wherever they need to go. So that is all I had for this evening. Any questions or anything you guys have to say?
Great job, Ms. Jen.
Oh, thank you.
Miss Jenny. That's the.
I mean, I'm biased, but I lead the best team in the district. So my girls are, I mean, they're incredible and they work hard and make it easy for me. So.
Good job, Jenny.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, on to our lovely policy updates, Mr. Wilson.
Got 3 policy updates for you. 2 of them are in the House Bill 2299. So the first one is JCDC, which is Student Personal Electronic Communication Devices. This policy, basically, it's put together by KASB. It is the statutory requirement that you have a policy. That policy says basically that each of our buildings need to have a procedure for ensuring that students do not have electronic devices accessible to them, that they don't use them. And so this policy meets that requirement. And then I'll ask for questions at the end. The second policy, which is BGC, is staff online activities. That same bill also had a component that put some requirements on student staff communication through electronic means. And so we actually had a staff online activity policy already. And so this has made significant updates to that policy to address the changes of the requirements to essentially not have staff having individual contact with students through a social media platform. And that's very specific, the platforms that are used and that we can or can't use. And then the third one is a policy we didn't have and is not in KASB's book, but we should, and that is essentially making sure that anyone who is on the Kansas Public Offender Registry is not allowed to be in our schools. That is something that we have practiced for as long as I've been here. But we don't have a board policy on that, and I think we need to have a board policy that is explicitly states that. And then we will have procedures in our buildings to help do some background checks and things like that, which will help us with that. Questions on these three board policies? Any of them?
Yeah. So it's been brought to my attention or been asked that on the teacher student communications about a teacher who is also a parent or staff member who's also a parent. The way I read it, it says official school business or school business. So if a teacher parent can still communicate with their kid, but not other kids if it's school business. So yeah, that's been asked a couple times by other constituents on how that works. So
I can look it up, but I believe there are two exceptions put in there with that is I think they can actually communicate with like friends of the family.
Yes.
As well as any obviously of their relatives, I think are both exceptions that are in that bill.
So anyways, it just if anybody asks for that, that's the way I interpret it and think it is. So yeah. Because I remember
will double check that.
I remember in conference committee, we were in education committee when we were talking about that bill. That was an issue we discussed a lot. As a parent who's also a teacher or a staff member who's also a parent. I guess that's not teachers, but anyway, if you have anybody ask, that's the way it should have been interpreted. But I think there's some confusion out there.
Thanks, Kyle.
Yes, thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Wilson?
I did reach out to Brad earlier today just with a comment, perhaps. The policy as written kind of encourages kids to leave their devices in their vehicle. If they aren't able to leave them at home, I think most of us would agree that we're not going to want teenagers maybe without a way to reach parents as they're commuting from school to or from home to school. So I think a lot of our students are going to have cell phones locked in their vehicles in our school parking lots. So I just asked Mr. Wilson if there will be additional security, additional patrols, what that will look like, because I know that the policy says that we are not responsible. However, I think we do need to acknowledge that if we're not letting them bring them into the building.
Well,
Go ahead, Kyle, please.
they can bring them in the building and put them in a locker in their loss.
How many of our kids have lockers?
Well, we will have places for them to lock them up. That's and you'll see that in our handbook is buildings will have a place. I think high schools are using the lockers that are in the building and not used. Middle school, if I understand right, you were gonna have someplace in the office, correct? Or no, in the classrooms, through advisory, and then
Carry them in their
No.
backpack.
No.
they have to be inaccessible.
Gotcha.
And so elementary is either going to do classrooms or office. They have not decided which of those two, but they put general enough language that they can do either of those with their handbook language, which is next.
Yeah.
another component of that, so let's say we have some high school students are going to Washburn Tech or something, and the bill reads between the school hours, but if they leave, another issue was open lunch. We don't have open lunch, but some schools do. So if they leave the school property and they can take their cell phone with them, obviously, if they're driving somewhere or doing something. If they come back to schools when they have to put it back in. So we don't want the kids, like you said, Diana, driving somewhere and getting an accident, whatever. That's part of life anymore, that you have a cell phone. So that is okay also, so.
So is the school responsible? How do I ask this? Like if we have an area where all the phones go, somebody comes in, grabs another kid's phone. Is the school responsible for that?
I will tell you what the bill says, which the bill says the school is not responsible for lost, stolen, damaged property. I would say that if you pushed it, there is probably could be, if there was gross negligence, there could be an argument in front of a court, and really the court would have to say. The fact that it's in writing and statute ahead of time would probably give some cover to the school district, but I think we need to take the precautions necessary to protect the devices as well as possible.
And on that, Michelle, somebody could steal the phone out of somebody's backpack too.
Oh, well, yeah,
You know,
but I'm
if
just
they're out of the car
saying,
like that, I mean, it's,
Yeah.
somebody could steal a car out of quickly.
if
Right.
it's
And
in
get some phone
our,
with it.
I realize that we're kind of like, this is
if
statute.
it's in our possession, right, in the office, so that's different than in a car.
Mhm.
I
I
agree. That's what you're saying.
So
Diana,
anytime we
I
have,
was just-
we will lock them and take care of them the best we can.
I guess that's my other comment, Brad, is, I realize this is statute. We obviously are going to comply with statute. I'm concerned about some additional administrative time that's gonna take checking. We have a lot of kids. We're gonna have to check kids in and out of buildings with the phones. Some kids are gonna decide that then it's easier to leave them in the cars, which is fine, but now we have a responsibility. Whether the statute says it or not, I believe we have a responsibility toward that. So there's just gonna be, it'll be interesting as time goes on over the next few months to see how this plays out and provide feedback back to our legislators as we're moving forward.
There will be some cost to the lockers at the elementary and middle school as well. We think we have something at the high school that will work, but we don't at these other two buildings.
It will be interesting the first couple of weeks for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It will be a learning curve.
Yeah.
Let me just be the devil's advocate. Cause that's what I do. Why are we focused on students? And
The statute says we
if
have.
we're not going to matriculate this throughout everybody in the school. Why are we focused on students? Just a question.
I'd ask
So
the gentleman
asking
next to you.
6 other board members present.
Are you saying instead of staff too?
What's the regulation for staff?
It's a part of your professional agreement that you don't have a problem with your cell phone out during the professional day. I would just say like walk into a high school classroom, no matter if it's in our district, neighboring districts, anywhere, you will not see that being an issue. With how bad it is for kids, the issue, that is like I'm not saying like you'll never see a teacher get their check their watch. Like hell, my wife calls, I answer. I know who's boss.
To that point, that's not what the policy reads.
And we're policing with policies.
The policy is a direct response to the statute that has been created by.
100% support that. 100% my superintendent bringing this forward. I'm just asking in public commentary.
Oh, should we have a policy for
Do
staff?
we?
How is the, what is the
Policy.
difference? What is the distinguishing difference between staff and students? How can Miss X not say, but student Y can't do that? So does this policy solve that problem? I'm just asking.
And I think the question, I don't mean to be facetious in the asking of the question, but I'm not sure the problem that we're trying to solve with the adult one. They are adults. There are expectations when you work for a district that you can manage your phone responsibly.
Do not disagree.
If they are not, it is my expectation that their supervisor will address that appropriately.
And if three other people agree with me, I'm in support of this. That's all I'm saying.
So we don't have a policy for the adults.
We have in staff handbooks, they're not supposed to.
Professional guidelines.
Yeah, professional guidelines
Right.
would be appropriate.
But we don't have a
We
policy
do
that
not have a
addresses
board policy. No.
staff.
Sure.
The regulation or the statute addresses students. Am I right, Mr. McNorton?
Yeah.
So,
Just want to
Yeah.
make sure that I'm supporting what we're putting forward,
Okay.
because I think we're all on the same page. But I know that there are different terms that can be had to this, so I want to make sure that I'm on the same side. Not even the right side, it's just the side that I support.
right,
I
right.
don't think we should be manipulating. No matter what state legislator does. I don't think we should be manipulating students' ability to use these devices. I just don't. But I will vote accordingly.
So I think I understand. So your issue is that we have to do the student.
I think what we have in place, does it work?
Yes, it has worked.
Does it work? No.
Yeah,
The
we
problem is
we
that
voted
there's
for
now
adult
Is this what,
policy
is this what we're
a few months
implementing?
before. We have to
We
implement.
have
it.
We have
to comply with the
We
state.
have to.
I'm not thrilled with it either, but this is what our legislature decided and we have to comply.
I appreciate that. I applaud that.
Yeah.
Our legislator does a great job. They do a job. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not, depends on. Sorry, to catch you on. I just don't want to.
We move Keith and Kyle.
I have this one little thing in this world. And I want to make sure that I'm not handcuffing my teachers, my students, or parents. That's what I want to make sure.
So prior to you coming onto the board, I believe, Keith, we had implemented a new cell phone policy. And then legislative session happened and we thought that our cell phone policy was great. It was fine, it was working. Then unfortunately, legislative session happened. This bill was passed and now we have to implement it. We're not saying that our cell phone policy didn't work before, but this is what we have to do to comply with the law. Now, if we would like Mr. Wilson or whomever to find the section in the handbook that talks about professional guidelines for our staff, and if we want to review it, we can do that. But I just don't think, I understand where you're going,
Support our superintendent.
100%.
For previous decisions, but I have a responsibility
Right.
to say what's on my mind,
Agree.
and that's what I'm saying.
And I don't like this policy either, because I feel like that takes away local control, if we're gonna be honest about it. But we have to do it, and this is what we're doing.
Understood. Thank you.
So if I could.
No reason, you don't have to
At
defend
least I'm
Kyle
not getting
either.
shot
Like-
back. I'm shot.
That's what you want.
No, it's-
Oh, I'm
No, I-
throwing jabs at all.
No,
They're-
I get it. So we have a good
cell phone policy. Silver Lake and Rossville had similar, during classroom, still used it at passing periods and at lunch. And I think Kyle and everybody else left, but improved a lot, right? I mean, helped with our attention during class and things like that that it was intended to do. If you look at the data that's out there, that the bell-to-bell ban will take that to another level. And as a legislature, we looked at about 50% of our school districts did not have any type of
Thank you. That's
ban
exactly.
or any type of policy in place. So that was
Yeah.
part of the issue we were talking about, because there were a lot of school districts who hadn't done anything and probably weren't going to do anything, even though the data is so overwhelming, how
Yes.
detrimental cell phone, I'm not going to say social media sites where cell phones
Yes.
facilitate are to our kids.
Mhm.
So that was a lot of the
Yeah,
Yes.
the reason.
yeah,
behind
and
it.
that's why we
And if
weren't
you remember
throwing
back-
jabs at you specifically, because that is your
No, that's
job.
fine.
But we're also a district
Sure.
that normally
I
complies.
remember a year ago, when we talked about our cell phone
Yeah, yeah.
policy
And
ban, whatever we want to call it. I was in favor of that time of bell to bell.
Yes,
So-
and we were being proactive when we put that policy
Right.
in place
Yes.
in
Yeah.
the first
Uh-huh.
place,
Yeah.
because we knew just what we were told and
Right.
staff that it was a detriment for students to have those out in class.
Mm-hmm.
And so we took the initiative to do that, but not all districts did.
Right.
Like
So-
I said,
and-
half of them.
Personally, I think we went a step too far on the inaccessible part. I was finding myself with something in a backpack or whatever, as long as it was off. I was personally okay with that, but that wasn't what we had to vote on. But that, to me, and I even argued that some in our committee hearings about it, was as long as it's, in their backpack and it's off, I was good with that, and then, well, what if you find it on, you're still in trouble. I mean, just like we do now, if it's caught in the classroom, same consequence.
It's the policing of it. I support our superintendent.
Yeah.
I support this plan. I just needed to have this conversation, and I appreciate everybody's engagement, and
No, I
it's up for discussion. It's not up for action, right?
Right, no.
Correct. So, since the Royals played 15 minutes ago, we move on to the next one.
Thank you, Keith,
Thank you.
and thank you, Kyle, for your input there. We really appreciate it. And now, any more questions? I don't want to ask that, but we don't have anything else for policy updates. Mr. Wilson? Great. Marty, good luck. Student cell phone.
Well, it's just saying, it stole my thunder, so. We have shared with you, and I want to thank Donna for a couple of suggestions that I think were really good. Some language that we are looking to put in the handbooks. And the reason we're bringing this to you now is we feel it's important to communicate with parents and students what the policy is going to be before the end of this school year. Gives them time to start to make adjustments. They will, all of the levels, elementary, high school, and middle school, will have some of the same elements. And the first thing it's going to say is this policy is in place to ensure a safe, focused, and respectful learning environment for all students in accordance with House Bill 2299. Students are discouraged from bringing personal electronic devices to school. The school is not responsible for loss, theft, or damage, and will not investigate incidents involving personal devices. Students bring such items at their own risk. All devices, cell phones, wireless earbuds, smartwatches, etc., are not allowed to be used or accessed during the school day. In accordance with state law, non-school issued electronic devices are not permitted to be used during the academic day. The academic day is defined the time from the start of the first period until dismissal. Now, each one of them has a little bit different on how they're going to handle that. And that's why it's each a little bit different, but they're almost identical, but it's not the same. At the high school, because students as strange as it may sound, don't use lockers, we can have them use lockers and we'll have locks on those, and that makes them inaccessible. At the middle school, what will probably happen is lock boxes in the classrooms that they go to. They'll go there to pick up the computer at the first of the day. And when they do that, they'll put it in there, they'll get locked up. And if they leave at the end of the day, they'll be back in there for their advisory class. So it works from bell to bell. And in the elementary, we are still trying to figure out exactly where we want that to be. And quite frankly, don't know exactly how many cell phones elementary students will bring. They're a little different situation because they're not driving themselves. So that will be interesting. It officially goes into place September 1st, but we'll obviously start it at the beginning of school.
Or do you said computers,
Correct.
so they won't be using computers?
Computers at the middle school, they'll have, yes, they will. They'll be able to use computers. But they'll check them out at the beginning of the day and check them back in at the end at the middle school.
When we did add that last sentence, I think there is also to all of them.
That was the first line we moved it to.
No,
The
last one.
medical
You have
necessity.
that same copy. The students may receive permission for use of their.
I don't.
Okay, so we also added at the end, students may receive permission for the use of a personal electronic communication device if it is necessary for the implementation of their IEP, 504, or active health plan. But sorry, I didn't get that to you today.
That's okay.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah,
Are we expecting our middle school students not to have homework?
That is one of the things that we will be working with.
Well, no, I mean, if they can't take their laptops home, how are they going to finish projects? I'm just, I missed something somewhere along the line. I apologize. So I'm just trying to clarify.
That's okay. I think that this is an experiment to try and help. Right now, I believe that at the middle school, there's probably a higher volume of homework than there is at any other level. And I think that you probably have some parents that would probably agree with that. That sometimes it's easy to forget when there's 7 class periods and like each teacher gives an hour's worth of homework, the math starts to not work so well.
So the computers aren't going home at night?
Correct.
For middle school.
And with the site council and the groups that have been discussed with at the middle school, they are very much in favor of that.
So their homework will have to be something without a computer.
Correct.
They have to learn to write.
Now, one thing we're hoping on the cell phone policy is to get your blessing at least, because we would like to be able to send that out sooner rather than later. And there's not another board meeting until June 8th.
So.
Yeah, so, yeah, let's go ahead and move it back. Oh. Is anybody opposed to approving the handbook? Yes, Mr. McNorton.
I do have a request or question, I guess, Madam President. We have an audience member who has a question, if that's okay or not. Like, that's up to you.
You just put me on the spot, so.
I second that.
Sure.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you for that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
I think that's something they're working on, that is not part of this.
Conversation.
Right, that's not the conversation.
Yeah. Is anybody opposed to moving the handbook language to action? Does there need to be more review? Can someone make a motion?
Madam President, I make a motion that we move the cell phone in-book language to the action items.
Second,
Moved and seconded. Any more discussion?
Michelle had a question.
Yes, Michelle.
Just a cell phone.
Handbook. Yes, sir.
Yeah, mine was about computers, so keep going.
This is just to move.
Okay, this is just to move the cell phone handbook language to action items. All in favor, raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Do we have to vote on it again in action item?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Candace, we move that to action items. Michelle had a question about computers.
I just, we do the one-to-one for a purpose. But then not having those computers at home for schoolwork, that bothers me.
One is limited, as I recall, to a different group this year.
Yeah, we voted to reduce our computer size. Was that just in grade school?
That was
That was
elementary.
elementary.
Yeah,
Even to-
whether we're gonna- yeah.
Middle school and high school.
We don't have one-to-one K.
Would you like to add this as a discussion item for the next meeting?
Yes, I would. Let's do that.
Perfect.
Okay,
Okay.
we can move on. Because Keith has a baseball game to watch.
Because we have a baseball.
At least they're worried about it. At least.
Well, I thought it was interesting. The site council was the one that brought that up.
About
Site
the,
council at the middle school was the one who brought that up. Yeah. To have the kids leave their computers at school. So that's where that came from. That's where that suggestion was made from.
But the high school will still take them home.
Correct.
Okay.
so what we'll do is we will move this discussion about computers to the next board meeting so we can discuss it in a little bit further. And if there's any
Thank you.
recommendations that you would like to, or anything that you would like to see about that, you can contact Mr. Wilson and he'll make sure that we're prepared for our next board meeting. Sound good?
Okay.
Okay, Marty, let's move on to meal prices.
Absolutely. You have before you everything that Kate Cabus has put together and presented, and as you know, that's always incredibly thorough. She does a great job. You notice I'm saying that because I guarantee you she's watching right now.
We love you, Miss K.
And she will let me know if I didn't get that in. We believe that based upon the numbers that we have, we need to increase across the board 10 cents. Milk would not be impacted, but for lunches, whether it be elementary, secondary, student breakfast, adult lunch, adult breakfast, and obviously no milk increase. Any questions?
Did we increase it last year too?
We did.
But by 10 cents again,
Yeah.
but previously it was like, it had been a couple years.
Right. We had gone a couple of years, and what we're trying to do is rather than have a large jump, have it be something manageable each year. Kay and I have had some pretty extensive conversations about that. There's two schools of thought. We could either say, okay, instead of raising it 10 cents, we go 25 cents or we go 30 cents, and maybe we don't have to do that again. But that's a big impact during a time when inflation is as high as it is for families that have to pay for it. So that's why we're just doing the 10-cent suggestion right now.
Okay.
I do appreciate the price comparison to area districts that Kay put together. That is helpful to see. Thank you, Kay.
Any other questions?
Question. So is this something we need to be able to put out with here in June, or is this just for next fall? We need to move this to an action item, I guess, would be my.
In the past, we have typically done it the same night that we presented it, but it doesn't have to be. It could be in June. It usually goes in handbooks and everything.
I make a motion that we move the meal price recommendations from Marty and Kay to the action items.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, raise your hand, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Mr. Wilson, calendar update?
Yes. So you guys approved the calendar. And there had been a request brought to me to move up Seaman Relays. Seaman Relays the last several years has gotten done Well, it was not midnight, but about 11 o'clock. Probably about 11:30 before some of those folks got out of there. But the concern was students leaving, going to Wichita, and having bus rides or sometimes van rides back to Wichita at that late hour. So if they asked if they could move it up a couple of hours, that would get them out even earlier than they do now. And so it was a thought that maybe we just make this a district-wide half day like we do at homecoming. Teachers, students would be out just like homecoming. They could go to the relays, they could do what they have, and then teachers would still be on duty, but would be able to have an extra work day. In late April, that's kind of a nice day to have a half day at the end of a week for that. Next year, it would be April 30th would be the day that would happen on. And so just for a discussion, this was brought to the calendar committee, and it was unanimous. Is that correct? Unanimously from the committee, the staff committee that supported this. So we're bringing it to you for a discussion item today. And then if you would like to, we can put it on for an action next month. Yes, sir.
So I read this before. So do we need to make that half a day up someplace was the only thing?
No, it would reduce our snow days by that amount.
Okay.
And again, if we had a year like this year, no big deal at all. If we had a year like 2 years ago, I don't remember exactly how many we had. We had less than some of our others because we do the 2-hour late start. I even think we would have gotten through in that year, but it would have been really, really close that year.
In the event.
Yeah.
We have snow
Snowmageddon.
Megatron,
We would have to make up.
April 29th. Does that bypass this if we approve it?
Say that again.
If we approve to have April 30th, 2027 as an early release date on the calendar, and Snowmageddon happens April 29th. Is what we're doing tonight regardless?
So I'm going to try to answer a different question as well. So typically what the state will do is there's a cutoff that says any snow after that they forget. You don't get snow in April 29th in Kansas very often. People.
Oh, now that you said it.
Okay. Anyway, so
We've gotten it in April before, I will say that.
but that would probably be forgiven by the state in that case. So that one's a little unique situation.
So what's the loss of this?
But the thing that could happen is you could have enough snow days during the winter. If you had a really bad winter of snow, and we would have to make up unless the state, sometimes the state forgives those, but unless the state forgave those, we would have to make up a day or 2 or 3 or however many days we went over our max.
But Seaman Relays is consecutively adjacent to state. So if we have those snow Mageddons, it's going to impact state.
No,
No.
I don't understand.
no, I don't think so.
So it is state consecutively after Seaman Relays.
This has, okay, the snow days have nothing to do with sports. It will not impact sports at all. It would mean at the end of the school year, you might have to add a day or 2 to the calendar.
If we have snow
have-
between like our normal winter months.
Yes.
And Brad, this is just for a 1-year problem for the calendar, because the calendar committee will be able to take this into account next year,
Right.
that there will be an extra half year.
Yeah.
Or half day. I mean, we could have a half year too, but that would be bad. So really, we're talking 1 year, we're gonna roll the dice and hope that we don't have a horrible winter. And if we do, we'll make adjustments as we need to. But really, next year, going forward,
Calendar committee will.
calendar committee will take care of this.
Yes.
Okay.
But it can happen any year.
Yes, but the calendar committee in theory will
Yes.
give us a little bit more wiggle
Exactly.
room. This year, we don't have any wiggle room.
Well,
Great.
We
have a little wiggle room,
We have
not a
wiggle
lot.
room.
Okay.
You just never know what the winter's gonna be like. That's what.
Well,
we can't-
especially now, we've cursed ourselves. But other than that,
Probably so.
yes,
I can pretty much guarantee the worst winter on Kansas record.
yes, we're sorry. But yeah, but it's a 1 year problem is what I'm saying.
Yes.
Because the calendar committee can adjust
Yes.
going forward.
What is the purpose of pushing this to next?
Just because
That's what we normally, we discuss and then we vote.
One, I think we need to stick to the regularity and I can make. Can't make a motion because no, we're not here, but I support it, so, but thank you.
Thank you. We finally made it to action items. Jeff and Megan, is that you? And go ahead.
We have all of our user agreements and device loan agreements up for action. The only document we changed was the staff AUA this year. There were no changes for the other two, so seeking approval. And I think we did make an edit for you there, Donna.
Yep.
At the end of that one. Yes.
Any questions for Jeff or Megan about the loan agreements?
Make a motion to approve section 3A as stated.
About all.
Let's do all.
Yes, all three of those.
All three.
Second.
Been moved by Keith, seconded by Braden. Any discussion?
Kyle's got discussion. Oh, no, I was trying to.
He's trying to second it for
these two.
Here, okay, hearing none, all in favor, raise your hand and say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Jeff and Megan. Mr. Neinstead, paper products.
What you have with you right there are recommendations based on the cheapest price per roll or towel. We recommend that you accept the bid from Veritiv Corporation in the amount of $2,265.30 for shop cleaning towels. We would also recommend that you accept the bid from Clayton Paper in the amount of $19,550.82 for roll towels, $4,189.50 for toilet tissue rolls, and $11,978.40 for jumbo tissue rolls. Total amount would be $37,984.02.
I move we accept the paper products bid as presented.
Moved by. Second, okay, moved by Donna, seconded by Kyle. Any more discussion?
Why are we including toilet paper and paper towels in copy paper analysis?
No, we're not a paper products.
Paper products.
This is
toilet paper.
toilet paper.
That's toilet
Yeah,
paper.
copy-
The next one is,
Stand
next one is copy paper. Next one is copy paper.
Everybody's going delirious. We are on
Discussion.
paper products.
It's copy paper first.
All in favor, raise your hand and say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Move on to copy paper.
Copy paper.
Thank you.
What you have is, without any question, a Lisa and Eleni production. As you can see that they have everything broken down, and we would recommend pricing from Greenbush Marketplace.
I so move.
I second.
Moved by Michelle, seconded by Keith. Hopefully, we don't have any discussion about copy paper, but do we have any? Hearing none, all in favor, raise your hand and say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Marty. We are going to bring on.
So can you take the copy paper and then put it in the bathroom? Toilet paper?
That would probably
Counter.
not be good.
If we can put the toilet paper in the copy.
We are going to, we moved the cell phone handbook language to action items. So, this is a mess. Okay, so
Marty.
cell phone discussion. Marty, do you want to take your place in front of the podium just in case? I need a motion.
I make a motion to accept the cell phone handbook policies for elementary, middle, and high school as presented.
Second.
It has been moved by Donna to accept the student cell phone handbook language, not policies.
Oh, sorry.
Just,
Yes,
yeah.
language.
And seconded by Braden. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, raise your hand and say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Marty, stay there. We are going to now, I need a motion about meal prices.
Madam President,
Yes, sir.
I make a motion we pass the meal price recommendation as presented.
Second.
Oh, it's been moved by Kyle, actually seconded by by Donna. Sorry. Any more discussion? All in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Marty, you may sit down. Thank you, everybody. We're not done yet, though. Okay, next we're moving on. Tanner. Do you?
No.
No? Oh, I just read it. Okay, I get to read.
Yeah.
See, so we have some resolutions of non-renewal, and these are part 2 for 2 employees. So this is the final action on the termination of an administrator's contract, and no hearing was held. So the resolution states, whereas on the 11th day of May 2026, the Board of Education of Unified School District number 345, Shawnee County, Kansas, by resolution duly adopted, took action to notify Stephen Meyer of the board's intent that his contract as assistant principal for this district be terminated, and whereas pursuant to the resolution, the clerk of the Board of Education gave written notice to Stephen Meyer that it was the intent of the Board of Education to terminate his contract of employment, that he was entitled to a hearing before the Board of Education if he so requested in writing to the clerk of the Board of Education within 15 days after the date of the notice, and whereas no request for a hearing was received from Stephen Meyer by the clerk of the Board of Education within 15 days after delivery of the notice to Stephen Meyer, and whereas after extensive consideration and thorough discussion of the matter, the board has determined that the matter should be resolved as hereinafter indicated. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Education of Unified School District number 345, Shawnee County, Kansas, Section 1, that the current administrative contract of Stephen Meyer be terminated on the 11th day of May 2026. Section 2, that the clerk of the Board of Education gives Stephen Meyer a copy of this resolution in person or by United States mail, adopted by the Board of Education of Unified District number 345, Shawnee County, Kansas, the 11th day of May 2026. And we will do a roll call vote on this.
Madam President, I make a motion to approve section 9G as read.
Second.
It has been moved by Keith, seconded by Michelle.
Roll call.
Roll call vote. Miss Candace.
Keith Griffin,
Aye.
Michelle Claudel. Aye. Christy Weiler,
Aye.
Helmut Norton,
Aye.
Donna McGinty,
Aye.
Braden Werner, Diana Brody. Aye. Motion carried.
Okay. And then we'll have this for you guys to sign when we're done. Resolution of termination. Oh, I'm sorry. Resolution of termination is what it is. Oh, I see. I'm sorry. Yes, resolution of non-renewal part 2. Final action on the non-renewal of a teacher's contract. Whereas on the 13th day of April 2026, the Board of Education of Unified School District number 345, Shawnee County, Kansas, by resolution duly adopted, took action to notify Heather Hauser of the board's intent to non-renew her contract as a teacher for the 2026-2027 school year. And whereas the clerk of the Board of Education gave written notice to Heather Hauser on the 14th day of April 2026, that it was the intent of the Board of Education to non-renew her contract for the 26-27 school year. And whereas after extensive consideration and thorough discussion, the board has determined that the matter should be resolved as follows. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Education of Unified School District number 345, Shawnee County, Kansas, Section 1, that the contract of Heather Hauser be non-renewed for the 2026-2027 school year. Section 2, that the clerk of the Board of Education give personally or by U.S. mail Heather Hauser a signed copy of this resolution, adopted by the Board of Education of Unified School District number 345, Shawnee County, Kansas, the 11th day of May of 2026. On to a roll call vote. Oh, we need a motion, sorry.
I move that we accept what you just read.
The final.
Final action of the non-renewal of the teacher's contract. Been moved.
Second.
Seconded, moved by Michelle, seconded by Diana. Now we're ready for a roll call vote.
Madam President,
Yes, sir.
I approve 9D, which is our resolution of non-renewal, which is what it appears we're talking about now. Previously, it was resolution of termination. What's the difference?
One is an administrator's contract and one is a teacher's contract.
I approve 9D. Just a point of clarification.
It's way out of order now anyway. Yeah.
Sorry?
It was out of order because we added action items, so
So I need to, What
You
would
did
you like?
not say nine.
I did.
he did.
Did.
Yeah. Does he need to change that motion? Candace, do we need to redo?
You can't.
I don't know how that
I'm
works.
sorry, I'm just trying to keep it
Correct
clear.
here, so.
Yeah.
So
Because we don't follow rules, Robert's rules,
So
so.
let's, do we have a motion for the, let me
We have
say.
a motion and a second on the law. Non-renewal.
So do we have a motion? You want to do termination next then? You don't have to reread it.
Oh, okay.
Just
Yes,
so
that's
we
fine.
have an appropriate
Yeah.
motion. Okay.
Yeah.
So right now you're doing D, non-renewal.
Yes, which is the one I just read.
One you should just read.
That's what I just moved.
So move somebody second.
It was moved by Michelle, seconded by Diana. Is that right?
Okay.
Okay.
So we'll take a roll call vote.
Roll call vote for the teacher's contract, non-renewal.
Keith Griffin,
Aye.
Michelle Caudell. Aye. Christy Weiler,
Aye.
Alan Norton.
Aye.
Donna McGinty,
Aye.
Braden Warner. Diana Burden. Aye.
Okay, now we need a motion for
The administrator's contract, which is E.
Madam President, I make a motion to pass the final action on the termination of administrator's contract for Stephen Meyer.
Second.
Moved by Kyle, seconded by Keith. Roll call vote.
No discussion.
Keith Griffin,
Aye.
Michelle Caudell. Aye. Christy Weiler,
Aye.
Val McNorton.
Aye.
Donna McGinty.
Aye.
Braden Warner.
Aye.
And Diana Burden.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay. Now I'm lost where I'm at.
Executive
Yeah. Okay. Okay, I make a motion to go into executive session to discuss confidential employee information pursuant to the exception relating to personnel matters of non-elected personnel, and the open meeting will resume in the boardroom no later than
10 minutes enough, Tanner? Okay.
8:02, inviting Mr. Wilson and Tanner Smith.
Second.
It's been moved by Christie, seconded by Keith. All in favor, raise your hand, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Will you bring me?
Motion carries. Okay. I make a motion to go into executive session to discuss negotiations pursuant to employee negotiations. I can't see. I know. Under coma, and the open meeting will resume in the boardroom no later than uh 8:15. It's been moved by Christy, seconded by Diana. All in favor, raise your hand and say aye. Aye, opposed, same sign.